Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we're going to talk about something that might just completely flip how you think about building wealth and success. We're talking about the 5 investments that truly change your life.
Okay, so let me ask you this, straight up. If I gave you $1,000,000, right now, today, what would you invest it in? I mean, what's the first thing that pops into your head? Stocks? Crypto? Real estate? Seriously, take a second and think about it.
So if you're like most people, your brain probably jumped to those common answers, right? Stocks, crypto, all that stuff. But here's what's so fascinating. Some of the most successful people on the planet, I'm talking about people like Oprah Winfrey, who literally wore potato sacks as dresses, or Sarah Blakely, who started Spanx, which is $5,000. They made their absolute best investments when they had next to nothing. They weren't focused on money. They were focused on these other things. All right, so here's the plan. We're going to break down these 5 powerful areas. First, we're going to rethink what our richest assets actually are, and then we'll dive into each one of these life-changing investments. Sound good? You see, the core idea here is it's simple, but it's really profound. Think about it. Money can disappear, right? The market can crash in a heartbeat. But these kinds of investments, they stick with you forever. They're the things that actually raise your income, boost your confidence. They literally upgrade your entire life. Okay, let's jump into the first one. And look, this one might sound a little, boring. But trust me, it's the quiet foundation behind almost every single success story you've ever heard. We're talking about investing in your skills. It's like having a money printing machine right inside your brain. And this brings up such a huge paradox, doesn't it? I mean, so many of us will just lose hours scrolling through TikTok or Instagram, no problem. But then we complain about finding just 30 minutes to learn something new. It's kind of like refusing to plant a tree because it takes a little effort to water it, and then wondering why you don't have any shade later on. I mean, just look at someone like Elon Musk. Way before SpaceX and Tesla were even a thing, he was just a kid who was apparently reading 2 books a day. He was investing in physics and engineering, while other kids were, just being kids. And that knowledge, it compounded year after year until it became the foundation for world-changing companies. And here's the bottom line. Your skills are your ultimate asset. I mean, nobody can ever steal them from you. A job can end, a business can fail, but you keep your skills. And you got to remember, the world doesn't just pay for hard work. It pays for value. And when you are a valuable person, you are never, ever unemployed for long. All right, let's move on to investment number 2. Now, this is the one that, everybody knows is important, but almost nobody treats like a real investment. I'm talking about your health. It is, quite literally, the engine of your dreams. And I absolutely love this analogy because it is so spot on. We've got these huge, amazing dreams, right? But then we treat our bodies like a rental car that we just don't care about. We run it on fumes, junk food, and way too little sleep. Look, success isn't just about having good ideas. It's about having the physical and mental energy to actually make them happen. Want a real-world example? Look at LeBron James. The guy spends over $1 million a year on his body. A year. On things like his personal chef, his trainers, his recovery. Now, why would he do that? It's because he gets it. His body isn't an expense. It's the asset that makes his entire career possible. But hey, you don't need $1 million to do this. The logic is actually super simple. Sleep, that's your charger. Exercise, that's your system upgrade. And good food, well, that's your high-octane fuel. It's these small, daily habits that create these massive returns in your energy, your focus, and just your overall clarity. Okay, on to number 3, your network. Now, this one is a bit more subtle, but man, it quietly changes the entire trajectory of your life. It's true what they say. You really do become like the people you hang around the most. And let's get something straight about what networking really means. It's not about collecting contacts on LinkedIn like they're Pokemon cards. That's a total rookie mistake. The real deal? It's about building genuine, authentic relationships with people who inspire you, who challenge your thinking, and who you can grow alongside. I mean, history is just full of these examples, right? Think about Apple. Steve Jobs had this incredible vision, but he wasn't the engineer. He needed Steve Wozniak, the technical genius, to actually build the thing. It was the two of them, together, who created a legend. That right there is the power of a real connection. Okay, investment number 4. And this one is absolutely crucial. You can think of it like the operating system for your entire life. It's your mindset, and it's what determines whether you look at something and see a dead end or a doorway.
One of the greatest stories about this is Michael Jordan. We all know he was cut from his high school basketball team. Can you imagine? Now, for most people, that's where the story ends. The weak mindset says, well, I guess I'm just not good enough. But Jordan's mindset, it said something completely different. It said, oh yeah? I'll show you. And well, you know the rest of the story.
And really, that's the choice we all have every single day. When a challenge hits, the weak mindset goes, ugh, why is this happening to me? But the strong mindset asks a totally different question. Okay, what can this teach me? All of a sudden, rejection isn't personal, it's just feedback. And failure, that's just fuel for the fire.
Which brings us to our fifth and final investment, and it's the one asset that is the ultimate equalizer, your time. Think about it. Bill Gates, Oprah, you, me, every single one of us gets the exact same 24 hours in a day. No more, no less. The only difference is what we do with it. You know that feeling, right? You pick up your phone to check one quick thing, and then you look up and an entire hour has just vanished. Poof, gone. You got lost in the scroll, checking notifications, reading comments. It's just so incredibly easy for our time to get spent on distractions instead of being invested in our own growth.
And that right there is the key difference. Spending your time, well, it feels good in the moment. It's easy, but it usually leads to regret later on. Investing your time, though, in learning, in building relationships, in creating something, that's what builds your future. That single hour you invest in the new skill today, it pays dividends for years and years to come.
So there it is. That's your new portfolio, your real life-changing portfolio. You invest in your skills to become more valuable. You invest in your health so you have the energy to do big things. You invest in your network to find new opportunities. You invest in your mindset to overcome anything. And you invest your time because that's the magic ingredient that makes everything else grow.
And I just want to leave you with this one last thought. If you really start making these kinds of investments day in and day out, I promise you, one day, people are going to look at your life and say, wow, you are so lucky. And you'll just get to smile to yourself because you'll know it had nothing to do with luck. It was all about the investment.